Hey, good evening. I'm Rick Polito from NBJ, and welcome to CRN's Now New Next Palooza. I'm not sure. It's a conference thing. And I'm here with Ivan Wasserman. We're kicking off our opening reception here with something maybe a little bit different or a little bit, torturous. Ivan, what the hell are we doing?
I have no idea. You know how comedians always sort of start their sets with, hey, it's really great to be here in some crappy town somewhere. And they're usually lying. Well, in a way, I think we're lying too. It's not really great to be here in Washington. Rick, is it really great to be there in Colorado?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, there's nothing better than doing comedy to a Zoom screen.
I know. Both Rick and I wish we could be there with you in person at some fabulous retreat, that beautiful spot that CRN always has their things, so we can, hear you not laugh at us in person.
Absolutely, and in space, no one can hear you scream, but on Zoom, no one can hear you heckle. So
no one can hear you heckle. You can't hit us with tomatoes. This isn't going to be easy, but it's a first. So let's try to have some fun.
And so we're gonna start with Ivan. It was in my contract that I'm always the headliner. So Ivan, you're up.
Yeah, high five, my friend. Well, thank you everyone for that warm introduction. I know you're all clapping. As Rick said, I am Ivan Wasserman with the law firm Amin Talati Wasserman, and I'm also known as the world's greatest probiotic comic. I'm also known as the world's only probiotic comic, so that makes it a lot easier. When my agent called me and said I got booked at the CRN conference, I couldn't believe my ears. I was sort of pigeonholed into the probiotic comedy circuit, but now I get to do a whole new set. I'm not stuck with probiotic jokes, not stuck with the poop jokes from the probiotic world. So here goes, sort of flying blind, but we'll see how this goes. The Council for Responsible Nutrition, CRN. It's quite a name, isn't it? I mean, first of all, council. When I hear council, I think of sort of Darth Vader and his henchmen sitting around the Death Star, plotting to crush the rebels. Lord Mister, we shall crush the rebel FDA. Responsible nutrition. I mean, what is responsible nutrition? It's kind of easier to think of the opposite, right? Irresponsible nutrition. That's the trade association I want to be part of. The Council for Irresponsible Nutrition. I mean, can't you imagine the sort of member screening meetings where they're getting the new applications? Who do we got today, Joe? Well, looks like it's another toaster strudel company. Another toaster strudel company. Yeah, but this one's a little different. How so? Well, this one, they fill their toaster strudel with pudding, and guess what? The icing, 100% pure glyphosate. Sign them up, put them on a committee. Names. Names are funny, aren't they? That's what we call a comedy segue, ladies and gentlemen. You guys ever hear of a group called Backroads? Yeah, look it up if you don't. It's a sort of really high-end, glamorous biking outfit. For glamorous biking, or as we call it, glyking. Yeah, they take groups of Americans or people to beautiful places all around the world. Couples, my wife and I did one year in France, actually. It was a beautiful place. They set you up in a beautiful inn. They basically take your bags from one beautiful inn to another beautiful inn. And during your whole bike ride, they are following you in a van. The van is filled with snacks. If you ever get hungry, we call it snack roads, actually. Or if you ever get tired, you could just jump in the van. Anyway, one morning we stopped at our lunch place. The lunch place, did I mention we were in France? It was part of a vineyard. It was on a vineyard. It's France, right? We had wine, we had cheese, we had foie gras, we had more wine, we had more cheese, we had more foie gras. And some people, I suppose, were being responsible nutrition, and not pigging out because they had to ride their bikes in the afternoon. Well, not me. I'm in France. I love wine and cheese. Anyway, after the big lunch, one of the French tour guides addressed our group of couples and said, so how do you say after lunch, we will be doing a 12 kilometer, how you say, uphill, very, very steep uphill. So if you like, of course, we can take you in the van to the top of the hill, and then you can go down the hill from there. Or of course, you may ride your bike uphill after lunch, whatever you like. Who would like to go in the van? Please raise your hands. I'm thinking, who wouldn't raise their hand, right? So anyway, I look around, me and 3 of the other wives were raising their hands. I got a ride to the top of the hill, enjoying my snacks, while my wife was huffing it up with the other guys. Anyway, why do I bring that up? What does that have to do with names? Well, while I was on back roads, which is called back roads, of course, because it goes through beautiful country back roads, I thought of a competitor association or group. Let's go call it main roads, right? Can't you imagine Snooki as your tour guide? All right, so it's not a bad Snooki impression. Today we'll be doing 14 miles on the New Jersey Turnpike. We'll be having lunch at the Molly Pitcher Rest Stop at the Roy Rogers. And in the afternoon, we'll be going through the Lincoln Tunnel. Get ready, everyone. Names, another comedy segue. Speaking of names, how about Steve Mister, the head of CRN? Last name of Mister, he must have gotten teased just a little bit growing up, right? Are you Mr. Mister? Are you Mrs. Mister? And just as he hit adulthood, he was ready to deal with all that teasing. All of a sudden the 80s roll around and the rock group Mr. Mister hits the airwaves. You guys remember Mr. Mister? All the young people are like, what are you talking about? What's Mr. Mister? Anyway, it was a big rock group back in the 1980s. So I asked Alexa to remind me, Alexa, hey, play some Mr. Mister songs. Old people are like, who's Alexa? Is that his wife? Anyway, after Broken Wings and Kyrie Ole, whatever that means, came on, Alexa put on, for some reason, Piano Man by Billy Joel. Actually, it didn't, but I just needed that segue. Anyway, you guys ever listen to the lyrics of Billy Joel, Piano Man? It's a beautiful song, one of the most popular songs of all time. But that was one weird bar. First of all, there must be hundreds of thousands of bars in America. And that bar might be the only bar, probably is the only bar in all of America that calls the drink a tonic and gin. Who calls it that? Nobody calls it that. Could you imagine walking to that bar and ordering one of my favorite drinks, a vodka martini? The bartender looks at you a little bit crazy and goes, oh, you mean a martini vodka? I mean, I guess only a 7 and 7 is going to work in that bar. Anyway, next you learn about a character whose name is Paul. What do we learn about Paul? Well, we learned Paul never had time for a wife. He must have been pretty darn busy if he never had time for a wife. I mean, Bill Gates has time for a wife. Steve Mister, busiest guy in America, has time for a wife. I have time for a wife. Who doesn't have time for a wife? But luckily, Billy gives us a little hint of why he doesn't have time for a wife. He shares Paul's profession, right? Wow, he must have a profession. You know, what is he, an astronaut? That's busy, right? You know, a policeman. He's got to be something really busy. A CEO? No, we learn that he's too busy to find a wife because he is what? A real estate novelist. First of all, what is a real estate novelist? Second of all, how much time could it possibly take? I mean, chapter 1, it was a split level colonial on half an acre on a cul-de-sac. Just can't take too much time. And don't even get me started on that one guy, right? The one guy who apparently back in the day used to like to wear younger men's clothing. I mean, I don't know what he's into, but I'm not one to judge, but I like to wear appropriate clothing for my age. Anyway, and the guy you got to feel the most sorry for, right, is the bartender. The bartender's John, right? John is a great bartender. You know, he's making his signature daiquiris, strawberries, and mule Moscows. But he's got a little issue of sort of sneaking drinks to his friends under the table. And the boss wouldn't like that if he knew. So, you know, one day, John's at home and he's hearing that his friend Billy's got a new hit song. He's going to hear it for the first time. He's at home with his wife on the couch listening to the radio. Here comes the song. John at the bar is a friend of mine. Hey, wife, that's me. He's mentioning me on the radio. I'm famous. Who gives me my drinks for free? Uh-oh, the phone rings. It's the boss. Hello, John? Yeah, it's the boss. I'm glad there's some place that you'd rather be because you're fired. What a bar that must be. Anyway, when I was booked for CRN, Steve Mister told me, you know, that I can't be dirty. I got to work clean. I can't work blue. And as people have caught my probiotic act before, I'm pretty darn raunchy, so I needed some new material. So where did I go for new material? Where else would you go for clean material? Your kid's popsicle stash. So I grabbed my kid's popsicle stash, grabbed the box that's always got jokes on the stick, and I pulled out a blue one, actually, which is kind of ironic because we're talking about working blue. The other thing funny about blue, of course, is blue is not a flavor, but who here doesn't know exactly what blue tastes like? You know, it's probably put out by a member of the Council for Irresponsible Nutrition. Anyway, I took out my blue popsicle, I looked at the stick, and it said, "What's worse than finding a worm in your apple?" And everyone knows that joke, right? Finding half a worm in your apple is worse. So it's a cute old kid's joke. I liked it. But I turned the popsicle stick over. What's worse than finding a worm in your apple? I couldn't believe my eyes. It actually said, ladies and gentlemen of CRN, it actually said Prop 65. Mic drop. By the way, that's not a real microphone. It was just a prop. Thank you all. I have no idea if you've been a wonderful audience, but I hope you have. Have a wonderful rest of your conference. Stay safe. And here's Rick.
Hey, thanks, Ivan. You know, wonderful set. Set the standard so high. But so, greetings, good evening to everybody, no matter where you are. I want to welcome you to another episode of The Twilight Zoo. It's a journey to a carefully cropped dimension where bathrobes are formal attire, nobody's dog will shut up, and you can assume that your boss is watching porn on his second monitor. No, seriously, I've gotten so used to seeing people on video that I'm gonna have to carry around a plastic frame just to recognize people. Oh, you're Bob from Nutrobiotics. I didn't know you had legs. You know, when we do sue each other, we're gonna tell someone's happy to see you when they reach out to expand the screen. But we will be able to prank people. You may have noticed when someone's on mute and then comes off, they always have to, they shout louder because that makes the computer work better. So pretty soon you're gonna be in a room at a conference like this and you tell people, hey, you're on mute, and then you'll hear them shouting about their testosterone booster. So, I'm sure you guys are reaching for your mute button right now, muting me here. But I think there's going to be, we have to think about what has the pandemic taught us about the industry. I think the main thing is that what could really bring this industry together would be, some hairstylists and better interior designers. I don't know, I can't tell you how many times I've, seen someone zooming in from the basement that time forgot. I wouldn't be surprised to see orange shag carpet, beanbag chairs, that Farrah Fawcett swimsuit poster. I had no idea how many CEOs were calling in from their dorm room. But we will have like this nostalgia for the pandemic era. You're gonna miss the quieter roads, seeing dads playing catch and their kids in the middle of the afternoon, binge watching Tiger King. I didn't actually watch Tiger King. If I wanted to see delusional people yelling at each other, I could watch Fox News. I did sign up for COVIDplex. It's a streaming service, because that's all we do now is stream. It's a streaming service that translates movies for the COVID age. So I saw When Harry Couldn't Meet Sally. I saw Trauma Mia, Glove Story, Pulp Infection, and of course, 4 weddings and 200,000 funerals. I know, too soon. It's gonna be too soon for about 50 years. What I'm not expecting is this, the wacky quarantine romantic comedy, mainly because they already made that. It was called The Hunger Games. That's how much fun we're having in 2020. I have no doubt I'm gonna wake up some morning and see the forecast, volcano, and think, oh, I guess it's Tuesday. But that's the rest of the world. That's not the supplement industry. The supplement industry is rocking right now. I'm sure there's CEOs in this conference glaring at me who are already preemptively nostalgic for 2020. It's gonna be, oh, Hank, remember back in 2020, we had immunity gummies, immunity shots, immunity fizzies, immunity floor wax and oven cleaner. Those were the days. I wouldn't be surprised if some CEO gets caught outside a vaccine lab with a pipe bomb. let's let it roll just a little longer, at least through the next elderberry harvest. I know you're all booing at me, but I can't tell. This is tape. You know, this is the wonder of Zoom. And I have to also say, and this is not the first time this has happened. I'm sure I knew it was trending during the Black Plague. Back when, you know, the R&D department was a black robe and a cauldron. You could tell when something was working if the leeches didn't die. Now we have to have, you know, clinical studies, claims substantiation. You have to call Ivan. Unless you're operating in what we call the gas station channel. They're a little different. In the gas station channel, you can cure COVID and erectile dysfunction in one pill. Or if you're selling CBD, because then, you know, the claim on CBD is supports a balanced response to everything. I tell you, I mean, I had to set up an auto delete on my email for COVID and CBD. That shit started almost immediately. And then, you know, I tell people this all the time. I say the only CBD headline I want to write is CBD RIP. I can't wait. And I think CBD is like the embarrassing yearbook photo of the supplement industry. It's going to be, you know, remember back in 2020 when we wore mullets and fanny packs? Remember in 2020 when we all lost our minds? I wouldn't say CBD has jumped the shark. It's more like it tripped over the shark on its way to a Fish concert. I mean, I kid you not, I saw CBD as a hot dog topping. And you know, when it gets to the hot dog topping stage, that's when the solid science is right around the corner. I'm old enough to remember when, you know, marijuana meant something in this country. It was outlaw. It was counterculture. It was sticking it to the man, or at least my mom. Now I can walk to 6 different dispensaries from my house. I can't find my way home from any of them. Dude. I don't actually smoke marijuana. I think it's always kind of weird when, you know, middle-aged guys smoke pot. Kind of sad, especially during the quarantine. Think about it, you're sitting around getting high, listening to music, nowhere to go. The clinical term for that is high school. But I have to tell you that, you know, NBJ played no small part in hyping the CBD market. And still, you know, that CBD RIP, can't wait for that headline. But now I wonder, you know, what are we going to overhype next? Is it going to be personalized nutrition? That's when you pay, you know, someone several $100s to find out that you shouldn't be eating quite so many Doritos. Really, I mean, I'm supposed to eat more fruits and vegetables, get enough sleep, avoid stress, exercise. Who knew? And now you have to know there's always tests going back and forth. And a certain amount of the mail that's in circulation right now is fecal samples. No wonder the Postal Service is such a shit show right now. And I was thinking, I wonder if, you know, fecal tests, they, you know, went up during the toilet paper shortage. Yeah, honey, it's $300, but it comes with a swab. So now I'm thinking, is, you know, personalized immunity, that's what comes next. And you're going to take a test and find out what color mask you're supposed to be wearing. You know, on the color wheel, you're really a fuchsia. Brings out your eyes. But remember, it wasn't that long ago when, you know, Michael Jackson was the only guy wearing a mask out in public. And we thought, what a weirdo. And really, he was ahead of the game. Remember, he used to wear one glove? That cuts your risk of infection by 50%. I saw that on a CBD label. You got to figure he was a recluse, just like us. You know, how long before we're all living in our own little private Neverland with our plastic surgery lab, chimpanzee companion, bleaching our skin and plotting our comeback. So next time we see each other at, you know, we're going to look a little different at Expo, Supply Side West, CRN conference in 2025. Just bring your plastic frame. Keep your thumb on the mute button. So thanks again. Remember to tip your waiters and waitresses, or maybe Steve. And good night or good day or good afternoon from the Zoom continuum here.
Thanks again, everybody. Yeah, so we hope you had a good time with Rick and I. I know Rick showed me up once again. Brilliant comic. Let's hear it for him again, everyone. How great was he, Frankie? How great was he? Anyway.
Thank you, Ivan. That's, you know, the highest compliment from the competition here. So I heard everybody's gonna go off in breakout rooms right now to, you know, tear apart our performances. Is that it?
I think so. I think one is criticizing us is one of the breakout rooms. One is, I think, never have I ever sort of thing, and never have I ever done a Zoom comedy. So maybe I'll join that one.
Yeah, the post-heckle. It's the
Exactly.
post-heckle production facility there. And everybody here is for 2 more days. You're gonna be here through Friday. Remember, Friday it's casual Friday. That's where you wear your old sweats.
Exactly. And if you like us, how about a big thumbs up down there? Remember to follow us. Isn't this, wait, this is YouTube, right?
I think so. You subscribe or something.
Subscribe to our comedy channels.
Okay.
Anyway, stay
Don't
safe, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.